Hey there folks, Bryce Holdaway here, host of The Property Couch, and I have got a very special guest with me today, Jane Slack-Smith. Hello Jane, welcome to The Property Couch.
Thank you, Bryce. It is a pleasure being back.
Now for those of you who are regular listeners of The Property Couch, you will know that Jane is no stranger around here. Not only is she one of the best minds in Australia when it comes to property, but she is well and truly one of my good friends. So I'm excited to have you in the studio because we're going to talk about a topic that's very close to your heart today when it comes to mentorship,
Yes.
and in particular, property mentorship.
Absolutely.
Why is this such a passion for you?
Look, I'm really passionate about this because I think there's a lot of confusion about what mentors or coaches do. I think they're different roles. But, you know, for me, a mentor is someone who's done it before. They've been out there, they understand what people are going through, and they have some advice and some wisdom that they can pass on.
Why do you think, so essentially what you're doing is you're saying, I acknowledge and honour the fact that you have walked the talk, therefore I'm essentially submitting to you. If I'm asking for your advice, I'm actually saying, can you show me the path that you trod? Do you think there's a difference between, say, a property or just a mentor in general and, say, just a coach?
Absolutely. Look, you know, I think of my son. I've got an 11-year-old son and he's learning fencing at the moment. Now, if I gave him a sword and went, just go for it and head out there and have a go, and there's a coach there who's going to give you an idea about try your hardest, do this, you know, there's one thing around the technique, but there's one about mastering the technique and the strategies. And that's what a mentor does. It keeps them accountable, going, you said you were going to practice for half an hour a week, but you didn't. And I wouldn't just let him run around with a sword. So, you know.
Yeah, true. Very good analogy. So tell me this. You are a successful property investor. You've been investing for some time. You've written a best-selling book on how to buy a couple of properties, including renovation, get $1 million in the bank. So you're very successful as a property investor. But take us back. How did you learn property investing yourself?
Well, I don't know about you, but I didn't have a mentor. Like, I don't think a mentor is necessary because I think people can do it themselves. It takes a little bit longer, took me a little bit longer, but, you know, I could do it and I could follow the path that others had done by potentially going to courses and reading a few books. So for me, it was around how I was going to learn it. So I got in deep, I did the research, I found the people who were experts. I actually tried to find out as much as possible without spending a lot. So it kind of took me a lot longer, but I got there in the end. I got there in the end.
So was it a conscious decision that you made to not engage a mentor, or was it just the path that you took that it wasn't until later that you realised that there might be some opportunity for a mentor to add value here?
Look, I think now that I look at it, I mean, I have many mentors and still do today. And I think at the time when you're starting off, you really have that quiet confidence that you don't know what you don't know. So you have that kind of innate, you know, I can make this happen, and how hard could it be? You know, Joe down the street does it, so it's okay. And I think when I started, I mean, I came with a little bit more discipline as well. But, you know, over the years, I've worked with thousands of students that I've been able to see, and I've seen some of the characteristics of why they have succeeded and why they haven't. And, you know, we can get into that a bit later, but, you know, for me, there's a lot of people who buy courses and they don't complete them. There's a non-completion rate. And for me, I really wanted to make sure there was a completion rate for my students. And then I wanted to make sure they were successful, but you can't force people into it if they don't want it. And really, you know, for mentors, I guess, you know, if you're looking for someone, then you're ready. But if you're not, you can't be forced into it.
Yeah, you make a really good point, isn't it? Because quite often people can confuse activity with accomplishment. So by that, within the marketing world, what they rely on is the fact that if they entice you into some product and you buy it, you feel like at the moment of purchase that you've scratched the itch, and therefore you move on. Oh, I bought the course, therefore I've done it. And why do you think it's so, what's the right word? Why do you think it's so difficult for people to go, all right, well, knowledge is empowering, but only if I act on it. Why do you think it's so difficult for them to actually take that first step?
You know, I attended a seminar once with Dr. DeMartini, and he talked about he wanted the knowledge of the world, and his ideal was to fly over libraries and go and suck up the knowledge and move on. And I think that kind of happens with a course. You go through all the information, go, I'm going to get this, and at the end of it, I'm going to look like this, and this is wonderful. And you click that button and you go, I've got it.
Wow.
But in actual fact, you sit back and you go, well, actually, no. You know, the responsibility is now yours to take action and do the course and make sure you implement. So there's a thing around action and knowledge.
Actually, I like that, because when you get to the point of making the decision to buy, you actually are buying it from 30,000 feet.
Mm-hmm.
But as you say, I haven't quite thought of it that way.
You've got to get in deep to actually make it work.
Module 1, 1.1, step by step by step. So isn't that interesting? Hey, why did you start teaching others?
Oh, gosh. You know what? I've never said this before, but I think it's the Catholic girl in me. There was a degree of guilt because we were so successful. You know, I looked at a process, I put it in place, it worked for us, we did it again, it worked for us, it did it again. I was like, I need to tell people about this. So I got my sister on board, created $1 million portfolio for her, got my best friends on board, they all have them. I was like, I need more friends. And so I started looking at becoming a financial planner. I got halfway through this course in 2004, and the guy who was teaching the course said, you are way too energetic about this. And I was like, I just have to share this. I feel like I have this need. I'd feel guilty if I didn't. And he said, well, did you know that financial planners can't talk about property? And they couldn't back then. I was like, well, who can? It's like, oh, mortgage brokers. I was like, really? You want me to become a mortgage broker? And I thought, well, if I have these skills and knowledge, and this is the only way I can actually teach people, I guess I'm going to be a mortgage broker. So I started a mortgage broking company.
So you'd built a portfolio that was successful. You'd reached a level of material
comfort, husband retired,
all that sort of stuff.
What am I going to do now?
You went back to Mortgage 101.
Went back and said, I'm going to start a mortgage broking company so I can have the conversation about where to buy. It's not about the loan. It's about where to buy strategically so you can grow your portfolio to what you want to do in your vision. Because I think, you know, with two really well-positioned properties, people can buy those over 2 to 5 years and then get on with life. And my aim for people is for them to get over their money worries so they get on with life and live to their full potential and their purpose, which is not worrying about work. It's about having time and having the choice of time. And I think for me, when I started, I just had this compelling need to share it and to as many people as possible, which kind of became a bit of a problem.
Well, I was going to pick up on that irony because you're in a position where you had reached financial comfort. You then decided that you wanted to help as many people as you could. And my impression of you over the 7, 8, 9, 10 years that we've known each other is you are incredibly altruistic, which means that you want to give and help. And what I've always loved about you from the beginning is anything that you're involved in is always about how can I give maximum value but dial down the cost to as low as I possibly can. I love that about you. But the irony of what you just said is your life is amazingly busy right now, and you could be kicking back a little bit more than you do. So
well, I'm a little bit, you know, I've got years to go, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
To fill in.
So part of that for you then is talk us through the fact that you were a mining explosives engineer. I used to be one of these folks, which became one of these folks. You draw a parallel to how that is congruent with property investing. I'm intrigued. Absolutely. I've heard this story before, but I'm intrigued on the behalf of our viewers on how do you make that connection?
Look, for me, I wanted to have a secure financial future, and I was around 28 and I looked ahead and I thought, my parents don't even own their own home. I'm going to have to help them in their retirement. What am I going to do? And I'd had, you know, mining engineer, really good income that I had squandered quite well. And so I thought I'm going to have to get responsible about this. And so I started looking at things, and my boss kept saying, you have to buy a house and have a mortgage because then I know you're stuck with me for life. And I didn't want that kind of bricks and mortar kind of, you know, lead weight. And then I met my now husband, then boyfriend, and he had some experience with property investing in New Zealand where he had been mowing the lawn for this guy who was 25. Yeah. And this guy's like, do you want to mow my other properties? Like, how do you have so many properties? He's like, the first one's the hardest. Let me tell you about it. And so we kind of had this opinion that you'd had to buy a property paid off and then after 10, 15 years start again. And that's wasn't necessary. So, you know, we kind of went through this learning phase. And for me, it was around about understanding what was possible. And as an explosives engineer, we talk about risk, and risk is made up of the likelihood of something going wrong and then the consequence. So if I look at the likelihood and I think, what is the likelihood of Hell's Angels changing the oil in my lounge room and me having to replace the carpet? Not that high, but can I minimise that risk by having landlord's insurance? Yes. Is it still a risk? No. So I'm happy to look at an investment property. What is the risk of having a 1-bedroom unit in a town that only has 3-bedroom houses? Well, there's a high risk that I can't sell it or rent it. So do I go down that road? No, I can't change that. So understanding the risk of everything. So I came up with a Trident strategy because I thought, if I'm going to get into property investing, I want to have plan A, B, and C in case I get it wrong. And so, you know, buying under the market by having the knowledge and negotiating, buying in an area with good capital growth, so bang, bang, 2 lots of money, and then renovating to add value, 3 lots of money. If I get one wrong, stuff it up. Geez, I've still got 2 to fall back on.
There you go, folks. That's how we connect bombs, explosives to property investing. And what's crazy about it, it actually makes sense. It makes a lot of sense.
It's all about bang for your buck, renovating and explosives.
All right, I like it. There we go, folks. Now, you mentioned it is difficult for people to complete. They get excited about maybe a course or some form of new information to help them. Why? How do you think people can overcome that? Or is that something that people just need to realise that that's the way it's going to be for most people?
Yeah, look, you know, I pretty much took my career and changed it completely so I could teach people this, and then I took it personally when they didn't learn. Yeah. So, you know, I've got a community of 25,000 people, and I remember talking to a course preparer of courses in the US, and she said 3 to 5% of people actually complete courses. I'm like, mine are going to do more. I'm going to have, you know, monthly webinars, and I'm going to do Q&As and support, and we're going to make sure they're accountable. And she's like, oh. And so we have a lot higher, you know, completion rate. But it upset me that so many people don't complete and they waste their money. So I've got a model. Can I draw my model?
I would love you to. So we'll get our camera, our overhead camera ready for this.
Okay, so ready?
Yes.
So I've got this, and I think people fall into 4 quadrants. And when I'm thinking about this, I was looking at why people can't succeed. So I think, first of all, as we talked about, it comes down to knowledge. So up here we have wisdom, and down here we have ignorance. A school teacher, it's great.
Yeah, you're right, really well. Ben could take some notes from you.
Over here we have action, because having knowledge and doing nothing is not worthwhile, right? Yeah. And over here we have inaction. So
worst corner,
best corner.
Okay.
So then I started thinking about, okay, so all the people, the thousands of people that I'm talking to all the time, what are some of the characteristics of why they get things wrong or why they don't do things? And we've got people who are like fast action takers. They're over here doing action, but they only maybe not have a lot of knowledge about what they're doing. And these guys are gamblers, right? And so they're out there and they're buying in the US, and they did an option, and they're trying to put $1 down, and they're doing all of these things. And then we have the people who, they're adorable. They go to all the courses. They have all of this knowledge, because when you speak to them, they go, I did her course, and then I did his course, and I did this course, and they're doing all these courses. And these are fantastic, but they don't take action. And these are my dreamers.
Oh, I was going to say dreamers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We love these people, you know, because they're out there and they're having a real good go at it. And up here, we have my favourite people, our achievers.
Yeah.
And these are the people who are taking bold action. You know, they've got this, you know, wisdom and knowledge. And down here, they do exist, unfortunately, the cynics. So we have the people who are like, they know nothing, they do nothing, but they are the hecklers. They're out there and they're trying to convince you.
We need a little armchair, picture of an armchair.
Like, these guys, they get out here and they heckle all the time. So there's nothing that you can tell them that they don't know.
Yeah.
And they're out there doing. The gamblers over here, like these guys are the enablers. Like they're in these courses together or forums, and they're saying, oh, did you try this? No, but I hear there's a granny flat up here. Let's go and do this. They're enabling each other. They're having this really kind of good time. These people over here, they're like they're in a commune. You know, they are loved up. Peace, mung beans. I love them because they're so giving usually. They're really trying to give people. And over here, what I love is we have a community. And this is where people come together, they support each other, they actually have a common unity, right? So they are together doing all of these things and supporting each other. They're taking action from a position of knowledge. But I guess where I also think what we can do is we can move these people here, up here, by giving them, I guess, some clarity, because they need to understand what they need to do. And they don't necessarily understand how to make the decisions. And then we've got these people over here. And for these, we just need to give them some confidence. You know, these guys just need to have the action-taking confidence so that we can move them here. These guys, they're never going anywhere. Don't want to talk to them. So, you know, over the last, 15 years of teaching, I've been trying to talk to everyone. And I'm really trying to share as much information and bring all of these people up to this achieving. And what I've realised is I'm spending all of my time doing this when there's a few people, like, people who've got, a bit of knowledge and maybe up to here. They haven't completely maxed themselves out. These people here are happy to take a bit of action, and they've got some knowledge here. And all of these people, these people are people I love these people. We want to work with the people who understand that with clarity and confidence comes competence. And once they have competence, we can make them work. And for me, that's my ideal mentoring person, or someone that I can actually move and keep them accountable, and being someone there who's just the cheerleader saying, well, what are you going to do now? So what's the action, move them forward, and what's the knowledge you need? Look,
I think it's a really great framework, because I remember when I read, I think it was Rich Dad Poor Dad, maybe Cash Flow Quadrant, but Robert Kiyosaki said that risk is actually a measure of knowledge, because what is risky to me, you might just look at it and go, are you serious? That is every day of the week. You've done, scores and scores of renovations, whereas I haven't done as many renovations as you. So what it sounds like you're suggesting is that you get the people into that headspace.
Absolutely. And it's mindset, as you said.
And they're able to actually take steps forward. So these people, they're never going to take on mentorship. It's the 80-20 principle, is it? Yeah. I think these people, they've had a lot of a go themselves, and they know they just need something else to push them. These people here have tried a lot of things and they're just unhappy. Maybe their portfolio is not performing how they think it should, and they're like, there's something I'm missing. So we can feed these guys with knowledge and feed these guys with confidence and action. Then we can actually have this community that are supportive with each other, and someone there who can give them, mastery. We want them up here so that they can sit back and say, tick, money done, like the Forrest Gump movie. He opens up the letter and Apple says, you don't have to worry about money. He says, that's nice. I want that for everyone. I want that letter to come and go, oh, that's nice. Let's get on with life. Did you come up with this common unity?
I did. Do you love it?
I do. I was about to say, Jane, you've gone live with the spelling mistake. But then
common unity.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like it. So
everyone's working towards the same desire and supporting each other. For me, that community is really important, having like-minded people.
Now, folks, what we try to do with the Property Couch is to mentor people from a virtual perspective, so that hopefully we can get them to the point where they have wisdom. But in our approach, we're trying to get them to take action so they end up in this space here. But this is something that you do as part of your world, because I've observed over time that you were trying to do all of this.
Chatting to everyone.
And now you're channeling your energies here. Why do you think that your clients have been successful? What do you think it's taken with their approach with you that's got them in the right direction on both of these scales?
Well, interestingly enough, by spending so much time with the people that I'm working one-on-one with, it's trickling down to everyone else. So now I find I have such a more understanding of the things that are holding people back. Sometimes it's mindset. Sometimes there's a blockage. We go through a visioning exercise, and they might talk about the fact that their dad, never spent money, and they were always after their dad's approval. Or they might talk about the fact a lot of people, even though they're married, they're investors in isolation. They're making decisions by themselves with their family, and they're feeling that pressure. So I guess the thing for me is that we're working towards understanding more what makes people do things, and it's not the drive of money. It's around that security and that kind of like laying in bed at night going, everything's okay. I just want everyone to have that everything's okay.
Yeah.
So when we concentrate on property or money or all of those things, I think it takes us away from the big picture. So it's around the mindset, it's around understanding what you want to achieve and then how to get there as quickly as possible so you can get on with life.
I reckon the biggest benefit that a mentor provides is, I reckon, more on this scale than this scale, right? And the reason I say that is really simple, because I think you would agree that your success on your own personal balance sheet, my own success as a property investor, actually wasn't that big a deal, right? It was buying property, it was correctly financing it, it was having the right strategy, in your case, knowing how to... So that wisdom section it's actually quite straightforward. Where a mentor, I reckon, helps the most comes down to helping you say one word, and that's yes.
Yeah.
That's actually, because it's essentially putting one step in front of the other. And one of my good mates, Jamin Fraser, says that when a rocket leaves planet Earth heading for its destination, the amount of time that it is actually on course is about 3%. So 97% of the time, there's a course correction. And I reckon where a mentor can help the most is by saying, it doesn't matter where you are as long as you're facing in the right direction. And that's really around the action, because the wisdom, let's be honest, that, you know, it's harder to...
good books.
Got the books. It's harder to trade cryptocurrencies or start a new business than it is to do property investing. It's not that hard.
Follow the bouncing ball. And I agree with you. I think it's action, but I think it's the accountability. So it's that course correct, and it's also, so you said you're going to do this, and to get to your end goal, are you still on track? And I think, you know, especially for millennials and younger people, when we talk about the vision of retirement, the goal is too far away. And we need to bring it back and go, okay, so what do you really want? I want a job with purpose where I can make a contribution, but I need to pay my bills. So what if we could have something else paying your bills for you, so you had that freedom of choice to following the career and the passion that you wanted? Great. You know, so I think it's understanding what the vision is for people and making it real as well. And I mean, this is how it's a little bit daggy, okay, because we're not sharing this with anyone at all.
Just between you and me.
In the morning, I have like my, dressing table, and I have these little fairy lights around it, and I turn the fairy lights on, and I think of every single one of my mentoring students, and I think of their vision and what I could potentially create for them for the day. So I'm actually thinking, and I think that's what people...
Amazing.
Well, I think that's what people kind of need, is that you kind of need someone else batting for you, or going, are they okay? They're okay. They're on track. And our family does it for us. When we're at school, we have coaches, and they keep us on track, but they kind of let us into the world, and we just have a go.
I like it. Now, we've got I'm going to put a link up shortly so people can check it out, but we've got this wonderful story of someone that you've helped. Where was this client here on the journey to this corner? Whereabouts did they start?
Oh, wow. God, the beautiful Sharon. I would say that she would be over here with the dreamers, and a little bit fearful as an investor in solitude as well, being held the family finances, going, trust you, go for it. And, she's done the courses and she has a successful property, and she's like, always sacrificed for the family, and she's like, I deserve to make sure that my future's set up. So a bit of a dreamer, needed that action, and she's out there at the moment, as she's putting in offers.
Nice. So folks, if you want to go and check out Sharon, how she's moved from confidence, you can go to www.janementor.com.au. There's a wonderful little video that you can check that out, folks. So I recommend that you do that. I appreciate you sharing this. This is clearly scores and scores of hours running through your head to arrive at this, but I love the simplicity of it, and I love where people can self-assess where they might be, which corner. Let's hope you're not in this corner, folks, but if you can sort of get yourself moving towards this direction, particularly having a mentor, that's a good thing. So Jane/Smith, folks, go and check that out, janementor.com.au. And of course, if you want to be virtually mentored each and every week by myself and Ben on the Property Couch, we have a new episode every Thursday at 3 p.m. East Coast Australian time. If you're in Perth, it's a little bit earlier. If you're somewhere else, it's a bit later. But you should check that out every week if you go to thepropertycouch.com.au.